Hello, my name is Jack Lupton. I'm a first year science student. Today we'll be looking at how the media uses associative learning processes in advertising, specifically classical conditioning. This sort of strategy is implemented frequently in the media and has been for years. A recent one is George Clooney and espresso coffee. I don't buy it, but I'm sure the researchers will shed some light on how and why people might, because today we are looking at classical conditioning and celebrity endorsers, an examination of belongingness and resistance to extinction. What they aimed to achieve from the study was how celebrities are used as conditioned stimuli in advertisement. I'll explain a little bit more about what that means shortly, and they also investigate the efficacy of celebrity endorsements. And what we're talking about here is how successful celebrity endorsements are at changing brand attitudes of the consumer. Okay, so a little bit about classical conditioning. It's an associative learning process and sometimes known as Pavlovian conditioning, as Russian psychologist Ivan Pavlov was a major player in classical conditioning. You're probably familiar with Pavlov's dog, where he conditions a dog to salivate at the sound of a bell. Conditioning occurs with the pairing of a neutral stimulus and unconditioned stimulus. Through association, the neutral stimulus becomes conditioned to produce a conditioned response, and is thereafter known as the conditioned stimulus. In the case of celebrity endorsements, the celebrity is the unconditioned stimulus, as they naturally produce positive emotions. The brand or product is the neutral stimulus. We associate those feelings from the celebrity with the product and become conditioned to feel good about the brand, and that is what we are looking at today. The researchers came up with 3 hypotheses, each with a study. Hypothesis 1 states that individuals will form better attitudes towards conditioned brands, which are those paired with celebrities, compared to unconditioned brands. Hypothesis 2 states that if the celebrity and brand are congruent, as in they are fit for one another, the brand attitude will be stronger. And hypothesis 3 tests that conditioned brand attitudes will remain after extinction protocols. And I'll explain a little bit more about extinction in respect to conditioning when we come to the study. So study 1, systematic pairing. The researchers used a 2-group design with 78 participants. I'm afraid the article did not explain much about the details, but we can presume they are university students. So we have a treatment group and a control group. These are our independent variables. And we are measuring brand attitude, the dependent variable. The study consisted of a series of images shown for 4 seconds each. This included a celebrity amid random filler images of fictitious brands and objects. The random filler images are included to avoid hypothesis guessing, which would mar the results. The treatment group would always see the brand preceding the celebrity. The control group would see the same images but in a random order. In this case, the brand is Garrett Styling Gel, and the celebrity was Jennifer Aniston. In the treatment group, Garrett and Aniston were paired 5 times. This is important as it is enough times that participants don't get bored, and it's also enough to have a conditioning effect. Jennifer Aniston was determined to be highly trustworthy and attractive in a pretest of 50 people. This is important to the study as the point of the celebrity is to have a figure that is well liked and popular. If the celebrity wasn't well liked, any positive effect may be minimal. As you can see, the treatment group had a high mean attitude towards the brand compared to the control group. This was measured using a 7-point scale, including the following items: good, bad, high quality, low quality, like, dislike, superior, inferior, attractive, unattractive, pleasant, unpleasant, interesting, boring. This is important as attitude is difficult to quantify, so having many items to scale attitude is very beneficial to the study. The second study focused on belongingness, which is the effect of a brand celebrity fit on conditioning strength. This study used a 2x2 factorial design with 157 participants. This is when you have multiple independent variables in a single study. They are also sometimes referred to as factors. The first factor was a high celebrity brand fit, and the second, a low celebrity brand fit. In this case, the brand was Lupton sports drink. The high fit condition used athlete Michael Jordan, and the low fit condition used actor Pierce Brosnan. Once again, the level of fit for the celebrity and product was determined in a pretest, making Michael Jordan a good candidate and Pierce Brosnan a poor candidate for belongingness, specifically that towards the sports drink. Using the same 7-point scale as before, they found Michael Jordan produced a far better mean attitude than Pierce Brosnan, supporting the hypothesis as Michael Jordan is much more fitted to a sports drink than an actor such as Pierce Brosnan. This study tested the effects of extinction on conditioned attitudes. I'll just give a brief on extinction in regards to classical conditioning. So extinction is the disappearance of a learnt behaviour. In this case, we are talking about the attitude an individual has formed about a brand. This occurs when conditioned stimulus is no longer paired with the unconditioned stimulus. The association weakens. This method was tested using a 2x2x3 factorial design, which compared to the following factors: treatment versus control, a comparison of the two, extinction versus no extinction, and an after-time measure within subjects, meaning how the brands compared to the same subjects after a period of time, being 2 weeks long. The study used the same stimuli in Study 1. The extinction protocol was Gara and Aniston paired, but never presented in sequence, and the non-extinction protocol was Gara and Aniston replaced with Julia Roberts and Joro toothpaste, another fictional brand. This condition should not have a negative impact on their attitude towards Gara. The brand attitudes were measured in the following manner: immediately after conditioning, immediately after the extinction protocols, and then 2 weeks later to test the brand attitude's effectiveness after time had passed. The results are presented below. On the following slide, I have given my interpretation and a more simplistic view of these. For conditioning, the treatment group on average scored a higher brand attitude than the control, suggesting a conditioning effect occurred. This is important as the same participants were then used in the extinction trial. In the extinction trial, the mean brand attitude was slightly less than that of the no extinction group. This shows attitudes towards Gara were mostly resistant to extinction after the trial. Even after 2 weeks, the mean brand attitudes remained relatively consistent, showing the strength of celebrity endorsement on brand attitude, but ultimately that of the associative learning process. From the results of the studies, each of the hypotheses were supported, and we can conclude that brand attitudes are strongly benefited from celebrity endorsements. If the brand and celebrity are congruent, as in they are perceived to fit one another, the conditioning effect will be greater, and conditioned brands from celebrity endorsements are somewhat resistant to extinction. Overall, this is a great experiment with many variables tested with different types of design. The use of a pretest to determine popularity and favourability of celebrities was a major factor that has been accounted for, as it is the effectiveness of the independent variable. Pairing the two stimuli 5 times seems to be sufficient enough to cause a change in attitude, which can help companies learn how to pair their product with a celebrity. Further, this study can be repeated using the same or slightly modified procedures and stimuli. This is something the study could benefit from to test the effects of celebrity endorsements across other age groups and cultures. Finally, the evidence of the third study can show companies how to often reinforce the brand attitude as it weakens, modifying the frequency of the advertisements. Aside from these benefits, the study may have been improved using a more varied sample, repeated studies, and possibly real products. The drawback of using fictitious products is that individuals will be less interested given the product is realistically unavailable, even if they are ignorant to the fact that the presented brand is fictitious. If new products without advertisements were used as stimuli, they would still appear as neutral outside the study. Overall, a successful study demonstrating how classical conditioning is used in advertisement and its underlying major effectiveness.